the site, you then want to get out and lick your finger and hold it up to the wind. Okay? Because I want you to know where you're milling. I want you to start to get in touch with the place, but also its wind patterns. Because there's going to be a lot of mesquite dust coming out of this, and you don't want this blowing into everyone's face that's enjoying pancakes or is at the farmer's market. So ideally you want this downwind of everybody. And it's not just the dust, it's the noise. So it's nicer to put it downwind. The other thing is we are going to be putting up a big thing of ductwork here, and there'll be a garbage can sitting here that will be collecting the flour in, and you want that on the downwind side, so that when you're feeding this with pods, you're not breathing in mesquite dust. It's blowing away from you. So it's just going to be a more pleasant milling experience for you. Okay? If you're not accustomed to backing up a vehicle with a trailer, just get the thing more or less where you need it, and then use this. I'm awful at backing up vehicles with trailers, so I like to use this all the time. Okay, it's way easier. So just put it in like that, and then you, well, first what you would do is you would put down this foot, and then crank it up a little bit so you could get it off the hitch of the vehicle, and then when the vehicle moves out, you can put this under, and then you can pick this foot, whoops, wrong way, back up, and once it's up, and actually I'm going to ask if two of you could lift the feet up on the back. And I want to mimic the situation as though we're pulling up to a site. So after you guys have lifted those feet, if you could also pull up on the cotter pin here and push the foot up. Great. So you can just push this thing back or pull it wherever you need it to go. And especially if you got one or two other people, it's pretty easy to move around. Once you got it where you want it, now let's get 3 different people on the feet. Okay, I want everyone to learn how to do this stuff and remember not only with your mind memory, but your muscle memory. So who wants to get on this foot? Okay, so you pull the cotter pin up and out. That one's dipped a little bit, so it's fine. There you go. And then stick it back in. Yep. Again, that one's not the funnest, but you work it a little bit. You guys doing the feet, once you hit the ground, you're good. You don't have to lift up the whole trailer. It's just so it's stabilized. And of course, if we're on the vehicle here, if you never unhitch, you don't have to put this foot down. Yeah. Alright, so now it's good and stable. You got it there, you're at the site. Now you lift up this great, inexpensive, all-weather storage unit you can get from military surplus shops. So we're turning wastes into resources right here with the trailer. Thank you, Joe. Okay, so here, whoops, wrong one. So in here we've got a lot of safety gear. We've got earplugs, protective eyewear, dust masks. I encourage you all to use all that. Uh-oh. It looks like that's our wait a minute. Oh no, we do have it, sorry. I faked myself out. So here's the owner's manual. And so with this, you won't be lost. So let's just follow it. The first part is a bunch of information you don't need. It's like how this thing works, how you put it together and stuff. Ignore all that. And we got a checklist of all the parts and stuff. You want to make sure you've got all this stuff when you're going to a site. Okay? And we'll go over that once we got this thing all set up. So let's go to hammer mill operation, but hammer mill setup. Okay, so we've got hammer mill operation. Got hooking up the trailer to truck for transport. At the milling site, orient the mill to the wind, stabilize trailer. We've done all that, and now just for the heck of it, so we go over it. Can you guys see the 4 metal posts back there? There's metal plates in the back of the garage. If you guys could grab those, and we want one at least 10 feet away from the trailer at every corner. Because the hammer milling attracts a lot of attention, and people want to get right in there, and you'll be running the mill, feeding mesquite pods in here, and all of a sudden, you can't hear anything because you got the ear protection on. All of a sudden, there's a face right here looking at what's going on, and there's stuff being flung out of here very fast. Could easily take out an eye. We don't want the public any closer than 10 feet from this mill. So let's make sure we're a full 10 feet away. And even if it's in the tree, that's okay, just to get the point across. And let's just make sure, yeah, that's looking good. Okay. We then have an old climber's rope that a friend fell off a cliff with this rope. The rope saved him, but it can't be used again for the climbing. So we're turning this waste into a resource as well. So we don't need to do it now because you guys aren't the general public, but then you would loop this through each post and then keep the public outside of the roped area. Okay? So that lives in here. All right. The next piece is we're going to do that first. Okay, I'm going to add something here. Who wants to be the mill operation narrator?
I can.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll switch. We'll go back and forth between you guys. So the one thing I need to add there, this is the first thing I like to do when I get to the site. Just in case any rodents have been attracted to the mesquite flour that's in there from the last milling, is just like this, I want to run the thing and blow out any spiders, dust, whatever. So if you guys want to come around here, I'll give you the first lesson in startup. Better mill in Bisbee with a much easier motor that's both an electric start and a pull start. Since we are one of the early pioneers, we hadn't learned that lesson, that it's a lot easier with an electric push start. So we only have a pull start. So here is your throttle. So bring the throttle to right here, and I'm going to make a point. We have a mark usually there. It's worn off. I'm going to make a better mark. But if you just go to the edge of the DeWalt sticker, then you're good. All right. Then here we have the choke. So usually we have to have the choke on when we're first starting it, but once you've got it going for a while, you don't need the choke on anymore. And then here's the gas too, the secondary throttle. So get that full on. Okay. So the red arrow points which direction is on, and then you turn this to on. Okay, the little switch. It won't start it for you, but it'll allow you to start it. Okay? So then full start. Okay. I'm glad it didn't start. Sometimes you gotta fiddle with that choke. So sometimes you gotta put it down to about half. So when it's being temperamental, play with the choke. Okay, so I'll pull again. So yeah,
most of them.
So obviously can't hear anything when that thing's going. And I did forget one other step. Before you run it, open this up. Yeah. And something happened while it was in storage. I don't know if something was piled on here, but this is hitting here a lot more than it used to. So you need to kind of scoot this to the side and pull it up. But don't just smack that, because we're going to just bend it up too much. And you just want to look in here and make sure there's nothing nasty. If there's something nasty, pull it out before you run it like I just did.
Yeah.
Okay? And since this is the beginning of the season and this was stored at the Marana Heritage Farm for quite some time, we bleach washed it out. Okay. Alright. So then you just go back. When you close this thing, you see how the paint's been worn off here? That fits right behind that bit of metal, not on the outside of it, which happens a lot on this side. It'll go to the outside. Make sure it's slipping between the two metal flanges. Okay? And then you push it down, and then you would screw it down. Okay. So, we blew everything out. We actually did a much thorough job before you guys arrived. Everything's good. Now we're ready to set this up. So, narrator, what's the next step?
We're putting the mill duct together.
Okay.
Set up. Yeah?
Yeah, and so what does that say?
So set up the black steel support bar on the fan side of the mill. Then place triangle black steel support bars atop it. Tighten bolts to secure all in place.
Okay, so here's the main black bar. We're making it faster. We never removed it. It's already there. Second one's right behind you guys. See the like triangle thing? So if you could bring that up. Alright, so you guys can then see that this is the fatter end here, and it slips over this. Okay, you then want to swing it. Maybe it says that. Does it talk about orientation? Alright, so you swing it so it's hanging out over this, because we're going to hang the big, fat-looking duct on this, and then the garbage can's going to be underneath it, collecting it. Right? Okay, and I'm not going to tighten this down yet until we have the vat on and we know exactly where we want it. Okay, next.